Okay, so I think we'll get started and people can always join as I go. So again, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Anne. I'm an academic advisor at the Faculty of Arts at the university. I'm one of 4 academic advisors at our undergraduate studies office. And the presentation today is, the title is Rules of the Road, but basically what it is a little bit of a grab bag or a crash course in all kinds of really useful things for you to know, to help you understand your program, help you to understand how your bachelor's degree is structured. And I'll move into what happens if you might want to modify your program in a way. And I'll also look into a couple of important academic regulations that are important for you to know even as you begin your studies, okay? You may have questions. I realize I'm going to be throwing a lot of information at you today. So if you have any questions, the chat is closed, but you are welcome to send your questions in the Q&A, which is at the bottom of your screen. And there is an anonymous option there. So if you have a question, you can just go with anonymous and your name will not appear. My colleague, Mark, who is also an academic advisor, there's Mark, will be moderating the Q&A. So feel free to ask any questions along the way. And we can also allow a little bit of time at the end of the presentation if there's something you want to ask. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, I guess the first question, what is a bachelor's degree? All of you, I am assuming, in this presentation who are here today have been admitted into a bachelor's degree. There are different kinds of bachelor's degree that exist at the Faculty of Arts. Something called an honors bachelor, and then there is a bachelor. And we've made these 2 columns to kind of help you understand the difference between the 2. I am guessing that a good portion of you have been admitted into an honors bachelor, and the honors bachelor, just FYI, includes people who've been admitted into the Bachelor of Fine Arts, the Bachelor of Music, or the Bachelor of Fine Arts in Acting. Okay, so all of these plus any other honors BA in English, honors BA in Communication, honors BA in History, what have you, Religious Studies. These are all honors BAs. And what that means is, first of all, it is a 4-year program. Now, when we say 4 years, we are talking about sort of a standard progression through the program whereby you are doing 10 courses a year, 5 in the fall, 5 in the winter, for 4 years. Okay, so it's a 4-year program. Of course, you can set your own pace, you can take longer, but ultimately that's what we mean when we talk about a 4-year BA. And it is made up of 120 course units. Most of our courses, you will see, carry each a 3-unit value. So 120 course units works out to 40 courses. So like I said, right, 10 a year for 4 years, and boom, there's your 4-year degree. An honors BA requires a minimum CGPA. CGPA stands for cumulative grade point average, and an honors degree requires a minimum CGPA to be in what we call good academic standing, a CGPA of 5.0. Now, on our grading scale at the University of Ottawa, a CGPA of 5.0 works out to a C+ average. And if you're wondering, yeah, okay, well, what's a C+ in terms of a percentage? It would mean an average between 65 and 69%. So that's a C+ average, and a C+ average is that 5.0. So that's the minimum average we require students to maintain when they are in an honors BA. And an honors BA is a specialized program. It provides an in-depth opportunity to study things in a fairly in-depth fashion. The other kind of bachelor's degree that we have at the Faculty of Arts is the bachelor. Right now it's a Bachelor of Arts in Interdisciplinary Studies, and some of you may very well have been admitted into that program. There's actually 2 kinds of bachelor's degrees, or Bachelor in Interdisciplinary Studies. There's 2 of them. There's a 90-unit 3-year BA in Interdisciplinary Studies, or a 120 unit 4-year BA in Interdisciplinary Studies. And that one requires a different CGPA than the honors degrees, okay? A BA in Interdisciplinary Studies, whether it's 90 units or 120, doesn't matter, requires a CGPA of 4.0. So again, on our scale, that means a C average, and a C, in terms of what that would mean in terms of percentages, is an average between 60 and 64% over your courses, okay? And this is a more general program, but it does provide basic training in various disciplines, and it allows you quite a bit of flexibility to explore all kinds of disciplines as well. There is some flexibility in an honors BA, but the BA in interdisciplinary studies, the name kind of says it, it does allow you to take courses in many, many disciplines. So your bachelor's program is structured in a way, whether it is an honors BA or a BA in interdisciplinary studies, whether it's 90 units, 120 units, your BA is made up of components, okay? And if you think of it as a pie, think of it as different slices. But so everyone's got what's called a basic skills portion to their program. That's where you're going to see courses like Philosophy 1101, English 1100, that kind of thing. Those are the basic skills, and those are common to all programs. Okay, so everyone, regardless of your degree, these are basic skills, everyone's got to do them. And then the rest of your program is made up of compulsory courses. Okay, if you're studying in a specific discipline, you're going to have compulsory courses to do in that discipline. You're then going to have optional courses, which are also in that same discipline, but you get to choose from a list of courses. And then there are elective courses, which are basically, electives are electives. You get to choose what they are, okay? They can be in any discipline, not limited to courses in the Faculty of Arts, and those are electives. Those make up your bachelor's degree. A bachelor's degree can also be made up of, like, your first discipline. For example, you've been admitted into an honors BA in communication. Communication is your first discipline. It may also be your only discipline, and that's okay. But sometimes students say, well, I got admitted into the honors BA with a major in art history, so I want to add something. I want to add a second discipline to that. Can I do, for example, a second major in, I don't know, economics, or a minor in business management? Yes, you can do that. And so all of these components can get tucked in together to make up your bachelor's degree. There's also options that are part, or that could potentially be part of your degree, like French immersion or co-op. We've also got little things called micro programs, which are sometimes made up of 3 or 4 courses, and those can all get glommed together to make up the entirety of your bachelor's degree. All of those things get included within the 90 units or the 120 units, depending on the program you've been admitted into. So what this is here, what we're seeing here, is the possible combinations. You'll notice that we talked about at the top in the gray, we're just showing honors BA with minor, honors BA double major, major minor. We're always saying honors BA. It is true that an honors BA will allow these various combinations, okay? But the same is often true as well for a bachelor in interdisciplinary studies. If you are in a bachelor in interdisciplinary studies, you do not need necessarily to have a major, a minor, 2 majors, a minor, whatever. You can coast with BA in interdisciplinary studies, but I want to make the point that it is possible in the BA in interdisciplinary studies to do combos like that as well. I think the general idea behind this board that we're showing you is that no matter what your degree is, no matter what combo you decide to go with, you will always have basic skills. There will be compulsory courses for a first. There will be a first discipline. You know, if you're doing a first discipline, if you're doing a second discipline, these are the number of units you'll have to take. And then there will always be elective courses in your program, regardless of the combination of just one discipline or several disciplines. Where it will differ is that if, for example, you decide to do a double major as part of your degree, you will have fewer electives than if you were doing a straight on honors BA in one discipline, okay? The idea behind that is that we're going to play with your electives to make room, if need be, for a second discipline. And the idea behind that is that we don't want it to take you longer. You know, we don't want you to be penalized in completing your degree because you've decided to study in 2 disciplines. Okay, so really, ultimately, the idea is that a BA is a BA is a BA, and so 120 units, you know, it will always be 120 units. It wouldn't be 136 all of a sudden because you've decided to add a second discipline to your program, for example. Okay, obviously, the sooner, if you decide to do that kind of an adjustment to your program, the sooner you do it, the easier it will be for you to fit in all your requirements within that 120 unit framework. And so if already some of you are thinking, yeah, I think I might like to add a second discipline, it's never too early to contact us at the faculty, at the undergraduate studies office, to discuss that with us a little bit. I realize I'm going through this material fairly quickly, and sometimes it can be really useful to speak with one of our agents about what it would actually mean for you in reality. Let me see. Yeah, these are the possible combinations. Now, the combinations we are showing you on this page are actually all the disciplines that exist at the Faculty of Arts, okay? But I do want to emphasize that it is possible to do a combination where your second discipline is actually in a discipline that's offered by another faculty. So as long as your first discipline, your main discipline, is in the Faculty of Arts, your second discipline can be in another faculty. So for example, you could do two disciplines in the Faculty of Arts. I want to do an honors BA in communication with a minor in religious studies, for example. Or you might say, well, I'd like to do a major in English, which is arts, and then a major in women and gender studies, which is social sciences. Yeah, you can do that, okay? Same idea, a major in geography with a minor in management. Management belongs to the Telfer School of Management, not a problem. As long as your first discipline is in the Faculty of Arts, your second discipline can actually be in another faculty, okay? So saying here, where do I start? Well, this is on the assumption, this slide here is going on the assumption that you actually want to change your program and or modify your program in a certain way. And I want to be very clear right now that we are by no means requiring you to do that, okay? If you're thinking, no, I chose my program, I know what I want it to be, and I don't want to add a second discipline, that's absolutely fine, okay? We don't expect it, all right? The only people, and there are very few of you out there, who would need necessarily to add a second discipline would be people who got admitted into the honors BA with a major in art history, or a major in French as a second language, FLS, okay? I believe those are the only two programs where your first discipline is automatically a major, and when you're doing a major as your first discipline, you necessarily have to add a second discipline of your choice, either a major, second major in another discipline, or a minor in another discipline. But you are the only students that we will sort of say, you know, you do need to add a second discipline. Anybody else, okay, if you're in an honors BA in, like I said, communication, history, geography, English, what have you, if you're happy with your discipline, you can stay with that. You do not need to add a second discipline, okay? Same for people in the BA in interdisciplinary studies. You don't need to add majors and minors at all. You can, but we are not requiring you to do that. So I just want to be really clear about that, because we don't want you to feel any kind of undue pressure that, oh my God, that woman said I had to add, you know, I had to add a second discipline. That's not the case. But if you are thinking of modifying your program in any way, there's a few questions you need to ask yourself before you go in and submit a request to change your program. The first one is, what kind of a degree do I want? Do I want an honors BA, or do I want the non-honors, which is, as I was saying earlier, the BA in interdisciplinary studies? That's the first question to ask yourself. The second question is, okay, in the case of an honors degree, what is my first discipline? Okay. If there is the need to choose a second discipline, what do I want for my second discipline? In the BA in Interdisciplinary Studies, as I said, you don't have to have disciplines at all, but it is also possible. So you can have it just a straight BA in Interdisciplinary Studies, period. Or you could do a BA in Interdisciplinary Studies with a major or with 2 minors, or a major and a minor. That one's a little bit more of a grab bag. And when in doubt, if you've got any questions about that, drop us a line, send us an email, come and see us in person. I'll get into that a little later, but that's ultimately what I wanted to let you know about that. It will be possible in most programs, or for most programs, to modify your program as soon as for this coming winter, like for January. We don't expect you to do that, okay? But if some of you already are thinking, oh yeah, I know I want to add a minor in whatever to my program, and you'd like to add it as soon as possible, as of October 1st, all the way to November 30th, it will be possible for students to go into their applications in UOZone, click on Program Change Request form, and submit a program change request. Program change could be changing completely from one discipline to another, or it could just be tacking something on to your current discipline. But all of these for us are considered program changes. If you do that between October 1st and November 30th, the change will kick in for January, okay? On the other hand, and as I say, I realize it's week 3 of your first year. We don't expect you to be making changes or even thinking about that, right? But if you want to, it's an option. But it will also be an option later, okay? So you're going to be able to do that over the course of this winter so that the change would kick in for you as you move into second year. It will be possible in second year to kick in for third year, okay? It is always possible to submit a program change request. Obviously, though, the sooner you do it, assuming you know it's what you want, okay, the sooner you do it, the sooner you will know what your remaining requirements are, and you'll be able to navigate through that without winding up maybe having to stay a little bit longer, or finding out that because you've added a second discipline to your program, some of the courses maybe that you did in first year are no longer counting towards your degree, okay? It's just something we are trying to avoid for your sake, but it's not like it's not allowed. We're trying to keep you on track as much as possible because we assume that's what you want to do, okay? Things to keep in mind. Now we're moving out of the whole program change thing and program structure thing. Like I said, this is a little bit of a crash course on all kinds of little academic bits and bobs, but now we're getting into a couple of academic regulations that are super important for you to be aware of. This first one, very important because you're really expected to keep an eye on this, okay? There is a maximum number of 1,000 level courses that you can take that can count towards your degree, okay? So if you are doing a 90 unit BA, there is a maximum of 45 units within that degree that can be at the 1,000 level. That works out to 15 courses, okay? So it's still quite a few, but you still need to keep an eye on that. You do not want to exceed that, okay? Because if you go over 15 courses for that degree, we won't be able to use them all, okay? For a 120 unit degree, okay, whether it's an honors or not, doesn't matter. For a 120 unit degree, the maximum of 1,000 level courses is 48 units at the 1,000 level, and that works out to 16 courses. I'd like to point out that we are not asking you to reach that maximum, okay? Some people go through their program never having taken more than say 8 or 9 courses at the 1,000 level. That's fine, okay? We're not saying that's the minimum. We're saying that's the maximum, okay? You don't have to reach the maximum, but if you do, you just need to know that is the maximum, okay? The second super academic regulation to keep in mind is that in order to remain in your program and to be allowed to pursue your studies, continue on in your studies, there's a minimum CGPA, a minimum cumulative grade point average that students are required to keep. I don't know if you remember, but I mentioned that earlier. If you're in an honors degree, that minimum CGPA to maintain is a 5.0, which is a C+ average. If you're in a BA in interdisciplinary studies, it's a 4.0 C average to be in good academic standing. We monitor that, the faculty, the undergraduate studies office monitors this for each of our students, okay? And as early as the end of this term, the fall term, we will already see your average. Once your fall final grades come in, we'll see what that average is. And if it is below the minimum, we will be notifying you, just giving you a little heads up. You do need to bring that up, okay? At the end of this academic year, for most of you, assuming you are studying full-time, you will have attempted at least 24 units, which works out to at least 8 courses over the course of this year, fall and winter. And so we will recalculate your average using the fall and the winter grades, glom them all together. We will look at what your CGPA, your cumulative average is, and we will make a first official ruling, if you will, on your academic standing. So if you're in the honors and you get a 5 or above, you're in good academic standing. If you're in a BA in interdisciplinary studies and after 24 units, you've got a 4.0 or above, you're in good academic standing. However, if you are in an honors program and after having attempted 24 units, your 24 first units, your average is below a 5, you will get placed on academic probation, okay? Which is basically a warning where we say your average is below where it needs to be. We're going to give you a probationary period to get your average up, okay? Just so you know, that's what that is. Same idea, BA in interdisciplinary studies. If at the end of 24 units, your CGPA is below 4, you would be placed on academic probation. Same idea with an email from us. You would start a probationary period and we would monitor your performance through that. At the end of the probationary period, you have to have reached the minimum average for your program, okay? Again, we are here to answer any questions about that, all right? The one thing, I don't really like to talk about this last bit, that last little attention there on the bottom of the slide, because it's not a happy thought, but it is a potential reality that it is important, it's important for you to be aware of, is that if after 24 attempted units, okay, your CGPA is below a 3, that is an automatic withdrawal from the faculty. There's no probation in a case like that. It's just an automatic withdrawal from the faculty. So it's really important for you to kind of monitor your own performance at the end of this term, okay, see where you stand. Once your fall final grades come in, see where you stand. And if you're a little worried about that average, contact us. We'll be able to talk with you about that. Maybe offer some pointers, advice on how you could potentially improve your average for the winter term. And we might have other resources that we can sort of point you to that could be useful to ensure that you do better in the second term, to avoid obvious withdrawal, but even being placed on probation. Okay, so we are checking these things, we are monitoring you, but it's important for you as well to monitor yourself. Okay, and if you're not pleased with your performance, if you're concerned, talk to us. Okay, we're here to help. Back to your program requirements and your program structure. The best place to check to get a really detailed breakdown of what your actual requirements are is your My Academic Requirements report. You can access that report in the applications in your UO zone. Okay, you can also access it within your student center under other academic, and then there's a little drop-down menu and you'll find it under requirements. And that brings you to the academic requirements, which you can expand, and you will get a super long, detailed breakdown of all your requirements for your program. It will show you what you need to do. It will show you how the courses you are taking are being used towards those requirements. And it'll show you what is left for you to do, assuming you pass the courses you're in, what will be left for you to do after that. So it's a full-on, basically like a checklist, and it lists everything from from now to the end of fourth year, what you will need to do. So super important for you to take a look at that. It's broken down by your basic skills requirements, the ones that everyone has to do regardless of their program, then your compulsory courses and optional courses if you are doing a degree in a specific discipline or several, and then last but not least, your electives. So you'll see it all broken down in that report. Again, if there's any confusion, if it looks weird, if you're not quite sure how to interpret it, please feel free to ask us about that, okay? Because this is basically, this tool was created for you to help you navigate your program requirements. So if it's not working for you, we need to know that, because that's your main resource, your main tool to help you navigate through your program. And if you do need help, any questions, any guidance about any of this stuff, because I realize it is a lot to take in at first, please contact us. You can email us at arts@uottawa.ca. You can join, you can add yourself to the QList virtual queue, whereby you can ask for us to call you back. We can call you, or we can do a virtual meeting in Teams. You can even show up in person. Our offices are open. We do have service front desk if you happen to be on campus and you just want to maybe ask a question right away. So we are located in Simard Hall, which is located at 60 University Private. SMD is the building code on the campus map. And we are, our front desk is at room 128 in Simard Hall. We are open Monday to Friday from 9 to 4:30. So yeah, just contact us with any questions or concerns you might have. The next capsule we're going to be offering for first-year students is coming up next week, and that one's called Understanding Your Course Sequence, which is also a pretty useful thing to understand, and it's the kind of thing that you can work with along with your My Academic Requirements report. The report will list all the courses you need to do between now and the end of your program. The sequence will tell you or recommend an order in which you should do them. So they're useful things to use in a combination. I would strongly recommend, if you have the time, if you're not in class at that time on the 30th, to attend this capsule as well, because I think it could be pretty useful. So I hope this was beneficial. I hope it was useful. Maybe help to clarify a few things, maybe answer a few questions you may have had. But I'm just going to go over to Mark now. Mark, are we receiving any questions in the Q&A?
Yeah, and we actually had a few. We had some regarding the presentation, if it's going to be available, because there's a recording going on, obviously. If it's going to be available on our website, or how it's going to be available. So I just wanted to mention, and as I answered this to the student, the presentation will actually be sent by email to all attendees. So it's not on our website, just a quick correction. I did mention that to the students, so it's going to be available by email. So every Monday, we actually send those presentations from the past week to the students who attended the presentation. And then we obviously had a few questions regarding the whole program. And I don't know if you want to mention that, Anne, the difference between an elective and an optional courses. I did answer to the student, but maybe it's easier just to quickly
Absolutely.
mention. Yeah.
Thank you, Mark. Yeah, I didn't make that distinction, but okay. An elective course is a course that you can take in any discipline. Okay, so you elect what the discipline is. So that's why we call it electives. So an elective course can be in any discipline. It does not, you are not limited to disciplines within the Faculty of Arts. So if you would like to do an Intro to Business Management course, which is offered through the Telfer School, for example, that can be an elective. You'd like to do a biology class, do the Faculty of Science, a women's studies class, a political science class, no matter, these can all be electives. And yeah, your program, depending on what your program structure is, you will have more or fewer electives to take, but electives, bottom line, electives can be in any discipline. An optional course, that's a different thing. Say your degree is an honors BA in communication, for example, okay? Your honors in communication will have a whole slew of compulsory CMN, communication courses that you must take, okay? But within the requirements for your honors degree, you will also be required to take optional courses, which are also courses in that same discipline, okay, in this case, communication, but from a list of courses in communication. So, and this applies to any discipline. I'm using that example, but I mean, this could be geography, this could be Indigenous studies, it could be whatever, it doesn't matter. So yeah, so the distinction is optional courses are within your discipline, but you get to choose what the course is, okay, as opposed to electives. Electives are outside the core requirements for your program, okay? I can add though, just to make things nice and messy, an elective can be in the same discipline as your program though. Like say you're just loving communication, you want to do nothing but communication. If you want your electives as well to be in communication, go for it, okay? This will not reduce the total number of courses you need to take for your degree, but yeah, so that's the difference. So we've got compulsory courses, courses you must do, optional courses, which are courses you get to choose from within the discipline of your program, and then electives, which can be anything. So hopefully that clears things up a little bit. Mark, were there any other questions?
Looking over there, no, I don't believe there was just a quick question regarding if the student can take 2 or 3 courses in the summer to actually be able to finish slightly faster than 4 years. And I did answer the student that technically, yes, the student could take few courses in the summer to accelerate a few things. However, the student needs to be aware that there are convocations that occur during specific times. So you may be able to finish your degree before. However, you'll actually only get the degree at a specific date or time. So.
Yeah, yes, for sure. That's a good point. And the other thing is, depending on your program and your course sequence, it may or may not be possible to finish earlier, okay? I mean, say you decided to take 8 courses this year, your first year, instead of 10, right? Like instead of doing 5 and 5, you did 4 and 4. You're thinking, well, now I'm behind by 2 courses for my standard 10 course first year. Can I make them up in the summer? Yes. Same thing. I did 10 courses in my first year, but now I want to sort of get a jump start and I want to try to finish my degree sooner. In principle, yes, you are allowed to try, but based on our course offerings and the course sequence, that may or may not be possible. Again, this is the kind of thing you might want to meet with an agent or an academic advisor about that to kind of trace out a trajectory for yourself. Because as I say, sometimes it's possible, but not always. Mark, was there anything else?
No, that's it, Anne. That's all the questions we had.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for attending. We hope that it was useful. But again, I cannot overemphasize, we are really there for you at the Undergraduate Studies Office to assist and answer any questions you might have. So don't be shy. If you come up with a question later after this presentation, just contact us and we'll be happy to help. Thanks again. Have a great day.